Hey everybody, it's Jackie with Jackie's Recent Things. How are y'all doing? Today we're gonna make a tobacco. Let me speak straight. Tobacco basket floral arrangement. What I have here is, this is a fairly large tobacco basket. This one is 20 inches by 12. Kind of got a bad spot right here. This is charmed. This is kind of like, it looks weird. So this is where I chose to put my floral block, is right here. To do that, we're going to hot glue it down. And so I don't drip it all over my table, I'm going to put the hot glue straight down here onto the grid. Like so. And then I'm gonna squeeze the floral block on here. And then to make sure it doesn't come off, because this is metal. And a metal tobacco basket, I don't trust the floral block to stay on. So we're gonna zip tie it on just for good measure to keep it from coming off. So I'm gonna connect another zip tie on here. And then what I'm trying to do is, I had to connect 3. I've ran out of my longer ones. So I'm going to try and make sure that the connection points are up in the center. Here's one, so we're good. And I'm just going to snip those off. So I couldn't find moss, I'm out of moss, to cover the outside of this. So I was like, what do I do? So never throw away your leftovers. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use this leftover leather fern to come around the side here to cover up the floral block. And that's why, my friends, you should never throw your leftovers out. So I'm really just going to bend that in tight. And we're just using this, like I said, to cover up the side here. I think it's pretty cool when these things happen and you don't have the perfect materials for a job, because then it just makes your imagination go a little bit further what to do to save money. So instead of running and buying something, I found something around my shop that will work. Thought I cut enough, but I didn't. I'm not really worried about the bottom, so I'm going to rip that out and repurpose it back over here to cover the sides up, because nobody's going to see down below really, because the bow will cover this up down here. So we're not going to have a panic attack about that. I'm more concerned about sides and top. Anyway, So see, when you turn it up, you can't see the floral block. And that's all that really matters anyway. All right. So, to get started, we're going to make our bow first and put it on. So I'm going to grab a pipe cleaner here. So I've only chosen 4 ribbons because this does not need to be a really, really big bow. But I do think I want quite a bit of tail. And I'm just going to do 6-inch loops. Now my standard bow would be 7-inch loops, but I don't want one that big. So I'm just going to do 1 loop with the 2.5, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do 2 loops with the 1.5. And then some of y'all got this next ribbon. In the ribbon kit. It's pretty popular this year. Got some little ladybugs, put some yellow in it. I'm just going to do 1 loop again. And then my last ribbon, I'm just going to do 1 button loop. Actually, I don't. No, I want to do 2 loops. Oh. Sorry about that. Okay. So as I'm tightening my bow this time, I pull it around to the back when I tighten mine and squeeze it. Like that, or I'm going to add something a little bit more this time to make it easy to put into the floral block. I'm going to add a floral pin, like so. I'm going to hold that there and finish twisting my bow up. Carefully, you don't stab yourself. And then I'm going to cut the extra wire off. Cleaner. like so. Then put some dab of glue on my floral pin here. Stick my bow in. So I'm gonna be careful while that's cooling down as I pull my tails around. I'm not jerking up on it. Sometimes I like to pull my loops around. Pull my tail around and cut just a little bit and add a little and that's what we're going to do. And that made my bow look a little bit fuller. So don't be afraid to do that. If you have plenty of tails down here, so you can sacrifice some tails to pull up to make your bow look a little bit fuller if that's what you feel like it needs. So don't be afraid to do that. So as our greenery backdrop, I'm going to use ficus. So this one's going to be my longer piece because I don't want my arrangement to necessarily stay within the boundaries of the tobacco basket. But at the same time, I want it to angle up. Now, I do want the tobacco basket to show, so this is going to be too tall. Let's see if this one's short enough. Almost. We're going to cut that down a little bit. So I want a little bit more length than height with this one. Because see, I want some of this to show. That's part of the charm. If I don't let some of the tobacco basket show, what's the point? And then I want that to angle up, so that's still too long to use. So I'm going to cut it because I want the one point and then I want it to come up. That way it doesn't square off down here and it has some shape. So I'm stabbing these directly into the side of the block, but I'm still kind of bending them up a little bit to give them life. See how I've made my shape and it's a nice tip? I'm going to do the same thing at the top. This might be too tall, and it is, so we're going to cut it down. Cut another small piece. Now I'm going to take the really short, small pieces that I have left, and I'm going to come over here to the side with them. And basically the only reason I'm doing that is to support the bow at this point. Those have sharp edges on them, so we don't want to do that. So I'm just going to cut the tips off a couple of these. I'm sure I have some leftover ficus somewhere. And it's not going to take much, as you can see, to support the bow. So it didn't take much greenery at all. So basically the first amount of greenery that I put in is to create my shape and to support my bow. And that's why I use an inexpensive one like ficus to do that. So now that I've basically created my shape, now it's time to start adding the florals. The florals for this, I've chosen some beautiful sunflowers. I've chosen a red and a yellow. And we might end up cutting the leaf off. I do that from time to time. So what I'm doing is I'm grabbing the 3 largest red sunflowers first. And then I have small ones that we can incorporate later on if it needs it. So what I want to do is I want to follow the design that I've created, but I don't want to go past my greenery at the same time, so we're going to cut that and then measure. And that's perfect. So we're going to put that in. Like so. And then we're going to come at the top, which is quite a bit shorter. So I'm definitely going to cut a lot of that off. It's easier for me to turn it, y'all. Put that one pretty far in. So basically what I'm doing with these sunflowers is I'm going to create my triangle, and I'm going to put this one a little bit higher. Actually, y'all, I think I want it higher up here. So I gave it a little bit of bend because you don't want them all like facing the same direction. You don't want them facing right here, but you kind of don't want them all facing the same direction. Flowers don't grow naturally all in the same direction. So you kind of want to give them all a little bit of a different bend as you go. So now I want to come in with my yellow sunflowers, and definitely I want to cut the leaves off on those. So to make this quicker, so I'm going to go a little bit shorter with the yellow. And I stage down my size from the red to the yellow. And then this one up here, we're going to go directly between, but I kind of want to go quite a bit shorter, I think. Actually, I might want to go higher. Yep, I think I want to go higher. We're going to go higher with this one because it was looking too flush. We don't want that. We want a nice shape. And that's better. Okay, so the reason I'm not putting anything over here is because I really want this to go up and down. I don't want anything out here but greenery. I want this to be my floral attraction through here. Curling my tails, and I might have to cut them, but we shall see. So now I want to come back and I want to incorporate some of the buds for one more size down in my sunflower. I think. I kind of like it the way it is. I kind of think, y'all folks. I want to add my smaller flower first. And then I can decide. Sometimes that's what you have to do. Let me add that. And let me add my ladybug. So this is a foam ladybug. I love these because they're ultra lightweight and they're perfect for floral arrangements. I get these like general wholesale. And these are just like, I just love them. They're the easiest thing to use when you're wanting to add something extra, excuse me, to a floral design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these floral sticks and I'm going to turn the ladybug into a pick. And that's the other advantage to it being foam, is it's super easy to do, because I'm just going to poke a little hole right here. And then I'm going to shoot some hot glue in the hole. Super easy. And now our ladybug's a floral pick. Super easy. And I want the ladybug at the top. So that's why I was like, we need to add the ladybug. See, super cute, y'all, super cute. Okay, let's start adding some of these smaller details. Because I think we're still going to come back and add the so I'm going to kind of like come in with these a little bit between the height of these. Because I'm trying to create a shape, the nice shape down here. So that's kind of what I'm watching. Pull these apart just a little bit. There we go. And then I've got a little boxwood greenery that I want to put in here to add some different touch of texture of greenery, because it's also important to have different sizes in your greenery and not just one big leaf. I'm going to cut this one really long and go in and behind the sunflower to help break some of the ficus up. One of the easiest ways to design is if in your head you decide what kind of shape you want first, and make that shape with your greenery. Or for some it's easier for them to add their florals, so if you make your shape with your large flowers first. It just depends on what's easiest for you. I'm going to come up here and add some of the smaller flowers. I think I want to add one directly in front of the ladybug so it will show up the best. A little bit shorter. There we go. A little bit further down. I don't know why, y'all. I just don't like the leaves on this. Love the flower, just don't like the leaves. And then I want this one up quite a bit taller. So let me turn this back straight so y'all can see what's going on here so far. And we're going to add a small little yellow flower there, because that's a lot of greenery. Sticking out. I really didn't want to, but that's okay. And then we'll go on the other side and add one to balance it out. So now's where I kind of need to decide if I want to cut these tails. And I don't think I do at all. I kind of really like the way that they hang in there and the way that they look. I do need to add a little bit more of the boxwood greenery at the top to kind of finish this off. Kind of fill it out a little bit more and change the texture of the greenery. You could also use grass, create a little look of wispy. I maxed that other glue stick out. You know, one of my worst habits that I used to have when I first started making floral designs is I ended up smothering my bow. I would end up putting so much into my design that my bow ended up getting very crunched up before I was done. it's taken me a little while to learn because I didn't know when to stop. So it's actually taken me a little while to learn more stopping points and better ways to put my florals in, as opposed to cram. Like right now my bow's a little bit smashed, so I'm actually bending my florals back toward the tobacco basket. And that's okay. I'm gonna take a couple pieces of boxwood. There we go. That's better. Get everything out of the way so you can see. So just, it doesn't really take that much ribbon to make a nice bow, and it really doesn't take that much florals to make a really nice tobacco basket at all. And they're fun to make. They go super quick, super easy. You can also make floral arrangements in them. The sky's the limit. The only thing that'll limit you is your imagination. Thank y'all for joining me. Bye, y'all.